In this week's episode of Hunter x Hunter, Meruem the Chimera Ant King shows off that he not only has the power to crush your skull like a friggin' grape, but he also apparently has the ability to scare you shitless so much that you will age 100 years and lose all of your hair. At least what little hair you have. I think we can all agree on one thing, my friends, that this week's episode of Hunter x Hunter had a lot of vivid imagery, especially at the end of the episode when Welfin was basically shitting his pants as Meruem the Chimera Ant King was literally about to devour him. If there's one thing that I've mentioned about the entire Chimera Ant arc, and pretty much Hunter x Hunter in general, it's a series that knows how to build tension and freak you out at a moment's notice, and that's what happened in this week's episode, and he immediately went towards Welfin, and I think this was a very nice twist. He can immediately sense that Welfin has a little bit of hostility towards him. This is when the big confrontation of the episode comes into play. It is like watching a train wreck in slow motion, but it really pays off because there's this one scene towards the end where Welfin is trying to figure out desperately what it is the Chimera Ant King wants to hear, and considering he's about to have his head bitten off, he really needs to figure this out quick, and this is all after the scene where he ages rapidly and loses all of his hair, which I don't even know what to make of that. I just think it's kind of funny and awesome. But this was the part of the episode that literally sent like a chill down my spine as Meruem is about to kill him. The only word that Welfin can say is Komugi. And that's where it leads to this very nice scene where immediately Meruem remembers his time with Komugi and he pictures themselves in this field of flowers playing Gungi. And of course Poof is linked to Meruem, so he can sense all of this, and he starts just flipping his shit. It is over for him, and this is all after a scene where he thought he was going to totally get away with all of this, and even started getting a hard-on for Meruem again, which, when Poof does those things, it's always really funny. But what I really loved about the scene with Welfin was when he was trying to remember desperately what was going on. All of the imagery here was just really freaky and just colorful and crazy, and really just demonstrated how freaked out he was. It gave us a perfect look at what was going on inside of his head at the time, and I just thought it looked really awesome. The other thing that was cool about this episode is how it opened up. It basically was just trying to make us feel really shitty because humans suck. We've been killing each other for thousands of years, and we still can't seem to learn anything. At least some of us can't. But what I really loved about it is, even though it's all set within, like, a fictional world, and, this is the Hunter x Hunter universe they're talking about, it's really just a big metaphor for what's going on in modern-day society. We continue to constantly murder each other every day, while some of us live in poverty, some of us live in mansions, while we just sort of look the other way. It's pretty freaky, but that's the way it is, and this anime series has the balls to remind you of that. That's just one of the other reasons why Hunter x Hunter kicks so much ass. But when Meruem actually finally does learn about Komugi, that's when he finally decides to go underground and figure out what's going on. What's most surprising is when he actually does remember Komugi, he actually doesn't decide to kill Welfin. In fact, he's a little elated by this now that he's finally learned about this. And even Poof gets to live. I didn't actually see that coming, but in a way, Meruem was sort of like struck by his actual resolve. So I think that's pretty cool. So, what's the rundown on this week's episode of Hunter x Hunter? Well, I liked it a lot. I really wasn't digging it when it first started out, because I'm like, okay, here we go, let's get through the poor man's Rose stuff. But all the imagery there was really cool. I like how they did the contradiction between the poverty people and the people who were just partying and living it up, and, they didn't have to worry about anything, and then boom, a bomb goes off. And the way they explained that bomb just made it even more devastating, how it would poison everyone in the general area, and even the animals would get poisoned, and it was just, like, constantly lingering even after this massive explosion happened. It's really nasty and devastating, and it really puts a lot of things in perspective when you think about what's going on today. But honestly, the other things that really made this episode work was Meruem himself, how incredibly intimidating he was. The scene where he was powering up and you could actually like see all of his like chakra basically exploding into the air. I know it's not called chakra, guys. Don't flame me for that. But still, it looked really awesome, and the scene where he was literally about to, like, eat Welfin just looked really disturbing. In fact, even the scene when Poof actually interrupted him, and the Chimera Ant King just had to, like, stop and turn around Terminator style was just fantastic. And they immediately went to the commercial break after that, and I was just like, oh my god, I just want to keep watching, oh my gosh. So that's just another good sign that I really like this episode. And, I'm a huge action fan. A lot of the times, I mostly just want to see fists flying, but this episode just really worked for me, and they're obviously still trying to set up the finale of the Chimera Ant arc. I can't wait to see how that's going to turn out next week, but this week's episode right here was pretty damn solid, which had a lot of really great animation, artwork, voice acting, music, full package, my friends. Check it out. If I only had one complaint, it would be that it was a little slow in some parts, mostly in the first half of the episode. When they finally got to Welfen, things really picked up and the imagery just went crazy. So that's what made this episode awesome. So I'm going to drop a 9 out of 10 on this episode. You definitely need to check it out. It was really, really good. Check it out, Hunter x Hunter fans. The time has come to let me know what you thought about this week's episode of Hunter x Hunter. How did you feel about this one? Did you love it? Did you hate it? What did you think of the confrontation between Meruem and Welfen, and what's going to happen in the finale of this arc? Remember, guys, before you leave, hit that like button so you can give this video a thumbs up. It's really, really easy to do, and it helps out our videos tremendously. But the best way to help us out is to watch our videos and to subscribe to the channel if you have not already. You can also check us out on Facebook and on Twitter. I'll put links to those in the description box below. So, guys, I will see you next time. Super Kami Guru 9000. Out.